They say the human mind protects itself from what it cannot explain. That night, Abeni's mind failed her. She woke up without knowing why. No sound, no movement, no dream, just awareness. And there he was, her husband, sitting on the floor, facing the wall, still, too still, like a statue that had forgotten it was once alive. At first, she thought he was praying. Then she noticed something that made her blood run cold. He wasn't alone. The room felt occupied, not crowded, not full, just not empty. And in that moment, Abeni understood something without words. There are presences that do not need bodies to be felt. Stay tuned as you enjoy this thrilling story of Abeni, a woman that obliviously married a handsome forest spirit man. Don't forget to subscribe to enjoy more thrilling stories like this one. The village woke gently every morning, like an old man stretching his bones after sleep. The sun would rise lazily, dragging its golden fingers across rooftops, waking chickens and arguing softly with the mist that clung to the earth. Life there was predictable. And in places like that, predictability is not boring, it is safety. Abeni lived inside that rhythm, but she did not move with it. She watched it, measured it, questioned it. Men did not ignore Abeni. They came, properly, with greetings, with respect, with intention. One brought cola nuts. Another came with his uncle. Another stood nervously and said, I may not have much, but I will take care of you. Abeni would listen, always listen. Then she would smile slightly and say, I am not ready. Sometimes they asked why. Sometimes they begged. One even joked, so when will you be ready? When you are old like my grandmother. She laughed, but still said no, because in her mind, she was waiting for something clear, something certain, something that would not require doubt. Then one evening, as the sun folded itself into the horizon like a tired storyteller closing his book, he appeared, not dramatically, just present, like a sentence that didn't belong in a paragraph, yet somehow made the whole story uneasy. He walked into the village with calm familiarity. No hesitation, no curiosity, no questions. He called himself Femi. The first day, he bought fabric, paid without bargaining. Abeni noticed. Everyone would have noticed. The second day, he came again. Do you always sell here? He asked. Yes. You don't get tired? She shrugged. You get used to anything. He nodded. The third day, he stayed longer, watched more, spoke less. By the end of the first week, he knew small things, that she preferred quiet mornings, that she didn't like loud men, that she observed people before trusting them. That was when he said it. You don't trust people easily. This time, it made sense, because he had watched, learned, waited. Abeni looked at him carefully. Should I? He replied. No, but you hide too much. You observe life instead of living it. Weeks turned into more weeks. He walked her home sometimes, stopped by her store, asked simple questions, gave simple answers. And something changed. Abeni began to relax. Not fully, but enough. Because people don't fall in love with grand gestures. They fall in love with presence. And Femi was always present. But even then, things were not completely right. No one saw him eat. Not once. At gatherings, he held food, but never truly consumed it. He avoided crowds not out of fear, but choice. And at night, his light stayed on. Always. A neighbor once laughed. Does that man fight darkness for a living? They all laughed. When he finally spoke about marriage, it was not sudden. It came after time, after familiarity, after trust had already taken root. I want to marry you, he said one evening. Abeni did not answer immediately. For once, she thought about it. Her mother asked questions. Where is his family? What do we know about him? Abeni hesitated, because for the first time, she didn't have clear answers. But she said, I've spent time with him. I know him. The marriage was small, quiet, not suspicious, just incomplete. No family from his side, no deep history. They moved to a house near the forest, close enough to remain connected, far enough to feel isolated. The trees there stood tall, still, not playful like village trees, but watchful. At first, everything felt normal. Then slowly, Abeni changed. Her laughter reduced, her energy dropped, her eyes carried weight, awareness. Then came the night, the kind of night that does not announce itself. No thunder, no strange wind, no warning, just silence, stretched to thin. Abeni did not wake up suddenly. It was slower than that, like something gently pulling her out of sleep, not with force, but with intention. Her eyes opened halfway. The room was dark, but not completely. There was a faint light, not from a lamp, not from outside, just enough to see shapes. Her body was heavy, like her limbs had forgotten they belonged to her. Then she heard it, a voice, low, controlled, too controlled. Femi, he was speaking. At first, she thought he was on the phone, but there was no light, No movement, no second voice, just him, answering, pausing, listening, as if someone else was there, speaking back. If you're feeling uncomfortable right now, that means the story is working. Subscribe now, because it only gets worse from here. Abeni didn't move. Her breathing slowed. She shifted her eyes, very slowly, and saw him, sitting on the floor, facing the wall, back straight, too straight. Then he spoke again. You shouldn't have followed me here. A pause, long, heavy. He nodded. To nothing. I told you. She doesn't know yet. Then something shifted, not seen, but felt, like another presence adjusting in the room. Then slowly, he turned his head and said softly, She's awake. Morning did not come gently. It broke into the room like a witness that had seen too much. Abeni did not remember standing up. She did not remember opening the door. But she remembered one thing clearly, the feeling that if she stayed, even for one more second, something would notice her completely. Not just that she was awake, but that she understood. Her feet hit the ground outside. Bare, cold, real. She ran, not like someone escaping danger, but like someone running from truth. Branches scratched her skin. The wind whispered her name. Or maybe something else did. Behind her, she heard nothing, and that was worse, because silence can chase you faster than footsteps. She did not look back, because some instincts are older than logic. And hers told her this. If you look back, you will see it. By the time she reached the village, her breath was broken, her body trembling, her mind fractured. I don't know who I married, she said. But even as she said it, she knew that was not entirely true. She knew one thing. Whatever she married was not alone. People went to the house later that day. Men, curious, concerned, trying to prove that fear is always an exaggeration. They entered, called his name, checked every room. Nothing. No sign of struggle. No packed bags. No footprints leading out. Just one thing. The floor, marked, a faint outline, like something had been sitting there for too long. Not one shape, multiple, as if Femi had not been sitting alone at night. The room felt wrong, heavy, like air that had been breathed too many times by unseen lungs. One of the men whispered, Let's go, and no one argued. Femi was never seen again. But sometimes, late at night, people who passed that house would say, The light still comes on, and shadows move where no one stands. Moral lesson of the story. We believe time reveals people, that patience uncovers truth. But what if time does not reveal, but rehearses? What if some people are not hiding who they are, but carefully introducing you to only what you can survive? Trust is not built by time alone. It is built by truth, and truth is not always visible, because the most dangerous thing in this world is not evil that announces itself. It is evil that learns how to behave. But this is not where the story ends, because 3 nights later, Abeni stopped sleeping, not because she was afraid, but because every time she closed her eyes, she heard the same voice, Femi's voice, right beside her, whispering, You left, without saying goodbye. And one night, she made a mistake. She answered, If you felt that, then you're already part of this story. Subscribe now, because part 2 is where things stop making sense completely. And tell me in the comments, if you were Abeni, what would you do? What would you tell your parents that had warned you?